What's going on, guys? Waco from Grail Watch here with our latest release, and I'm so excited to share this with you. But first, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about this year. So this year I launched Grail Watch, which was a company to take limited editions to the next level, to bring on board dream collaborations and create watches that were really something that was extracted from the collective consciousness of the watch buying public's imagination. Now, the watch that we launched Grail Watch with is this, and this is a collaboration between Alain Silberstein and Renaissance. And this watch we launched in March, and it did really well, and I really want to thank all of you guys so much for supporting it. And I even have my trusty UV light here, because I just want to show you the luminous signature in this watch. And this gives you a little bit of a clue as to the watch that we're going to see in just a few moments. When I think about Renaissance and I think about other watches that really evoke this kind of wonderful expression of time telling in an artistic way, another brand that comes to mind is Trilobe. So what's Trilobe? It was a brand founded by my friend Gautier Massonneau back in 2018. And it was really interesting because Gautier wanted to find a watch that reflected his mentality, his way of looking at life and looking at time. But he couldn't find a watch that he wanted to wear, or at least one that he could afford. I know he loved the Zeitwerk, for example, from Lange, and he loved also the Vagabondage from F.P. Journe. So in the pursuit of trying to find his perfect watch at a price that he could afford, he realized it didn't exist. And so he decided to embark on a journey of creating it himself, which I think is incredible. This journey eventually led him to the office of Jean-François Mojon, who has a company called Chronode in Switzerland. And what was meant to be a 30-minute conversation became a 5-hour conversation, so much so that Gautier missed his train back to Paris. But what he got instead of a train ride back home was a vision for watchmaking that could become a reality. And eventually he worked first with Jean-François Mojon, and then eventually with my friend Alain Chizer from Cirque d'Horloger. And the watches that he created are incredibly cool. So what's the signature motif of a Trilobe watch? Gautier wanted to have an artistic expression for time telling. So basically you have 3 time indicators, one for the seconds, one for the minutes, and one for the hours. And they're all forming a circular orbit around the dial, all running in a counterclockwise direction. So the first watch that he launched was called Les Matinaux, which translated from French means the Dawnbreakers, and what a great name for our first watch. The second watch he launched was called La Nuit Fantastique, or the Fantastic Night. But the third watch, which he launched, called Une Folle Journée, this year changed everything for him and his partner, Volcy Bloch. It took Gautier's signature time-telling indications and brought it into the third dimension in an incredibly ravishing way. So it looks like you've got 3 discs here, one for the seconds, one for the minutes, and one for the hours, all floating in space in this incredible 40.5 mm grade 5 titanium case with this wonderful canopy of dome sapphire crystal. This sapphire crystal, incidentally, is sourced from Japan and then polished in Switzerland. It's incredibly painstaking. But when I saw this watch at Watches and Wonders, I was like, Gautier, this is one of the coolest things I've ever seen. It really is, to me, like the Renaissance, an incredibly unique and singular voice in modern watchmaking. And this was a work of full maturity, a work where you could really see the full vision in his mind. Upon seeing this watch, I said, Gautier, it would be a dream to be able to make a version of this watch with you. And he said, well, you came to my studio last year, you saw the rendering of it, already you expressed interest. So you know what, let's do something together. So what is it that you want? And I said, Gautier, when I look at this watch, it looks to me like 3 flying saucers in space over a cornfield completely illuminated. And how cool it would be if we could take this watch and make it a complete artwork in terms of luminous signature. And he said, you know what, let me work on something. And so that watch is what I have to present to you today. So hang on, because I want to do an unboxing. So this is the box that you'll get if you buy our watch, which is called the Trilobe Une Folle Soirée. And that's kind of a hint as to what you're going to find inside. A folle soirée means a wild night. So I'm going to lift this top. And what you're going to see is this really interesting hinge box on the inside. So if you look at this box, the first reaction may be to take it out and turn it sideways. Please don't do that. So you can take it out of the case that it's nestled in, and you'll see that the back side is hinged and the front side opens like this, and you're going to open it like this. I feel like there should be like some Richard Strauss music, like from Thus Spake Zarathustra. And then what you have now is this incredible black orb. And so you're going to lift the orb up, and there you're going to find the watch. Guys, there you go. That's our collaboration with Trilobe Une Folle Soirée, a version of Une Folle Journée, their third and most epic watch so far. So I want to show you the particularities of what we've created. So let's take the watch out of the orb, and we're going to put it on the famous watch stand. Thank you, watch stand, for also lending this to us for our watch display needs. And I'm going to put it here. So then I'm going to take the UV light, and you're going to see that every one of the indications is loomed to the max. But then on top of that, every part of the movement facing you, every angle of that has been painted with luminous material as well. So you have this incredible luminous signature. To me, it looks like a miniature city at night, a nightscape that comes to life with this breathtaking luminous perspective. And even when you turn the watch on the side to look at it, you'll see that the luminous indications stay vivid. So I'm going to put this watch on my wrist also to show you what it looks like on the wrist. So the great thing about what Gautier does as well is he makes watches that are so eye-catching, so emotionally expressive, and at the same time so wearable, right? So this watch, as I said before, is 40.5 mm in terms of diameter. So it's in grade 5 titanium, so it's really lightweight. It fits perfectly on my wrist. It's got a dome sapphire crystal as well, but it's incredibly easy to wear and pretty much effortless to wear all day long. And then you get to have this magical perspective when you look at the watch. Holy shit, that's just awesome. So that's it, guys. That's the Trilobe Une Folle Soirée. It's our next release from Grail Watch. It's dropping December 19th. Thank you so much for joining me, and peace.